Well, welcome to today's rant, and we're going to get right into it. You know, I tell you, the whole nation is being stirred, continuing to be stirred. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. It looks like an osprey. Never seen an osprey, which is a fish eagle, this far inland, but one of them's hovering right here over our little lake. I know them well because we have so many of them down at our beach houses, but very interesting. Anyway, sorry for that distraction. But I wish I could have shown it to you, but it may have been just kind of behind the trees there. But, you know, that omnibus bill, it's still mind-boggling. It is still absolutely, it's unbelievable. The Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, are declaring victory. They won a victory, a big one, an unbelievable victory. With a Republican-controlled House and Senate, the Democrats got virtually everything they wanted. The conservatives got virtually nothing. It's an abomination. I don't know, this is worse than a failure. You know, starting 10 years ago, the Republican Party said, give us the House of Representatives, we'll stop funding things like Planned Parenthood, abortions, which is illegal anyway. Our federal government law, there were laws against our federal government, money's being used to fund abortions, and that was thrown out the door a long time ago. But our Republican Party said, give us the House, we'll get this changed. Nothing changed. They said, okay, we need the House and the Senate. We gave them that. Nothing changed. Give us the presidency. We gave them that too. Nothing has changed. I tell you what needs to change is the inept leadership in the House and in the Senate. And, you know, Trump, I think, is providing incredible leadership, even though he got blindsided. He took a big hit on this too. I would say he should not have been blindsided. I think he was let down by his staff. Somebody should have let him know what was coming in this omnibus bill. It lands on his desk. The only choice he had to do was to sign it or lose the very important increase in our military budget, defense spending, and also to take care of our veterans. And that's about all we got. That's about all the Republicans got. And think about it, $500 million of our tax money is right now going again this year to funding Planned Parenthood that was caught over and over, even selling baby parts. And you know, that is one battle that the conservatives have won resoundingly, is public opinion that abortion is wrong. We're solidly a pro-life country now. Supposedly, our Republican leaders are pro-life too. I don't believe they are. I think this proves they are not. This is, I mean, I don't care what they say. You know the saying that do you know how you can tell if a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. Well, we got politicians up there and they're lying to us. They either do not believe what they say they believe, or they are completely inept, lacking in the courage, the resolve, and the resourcefulness to do what they promised us they were going to do. Many other things in that bill. It's unbelievable what was passed. I think they're going to pay a high price. You are, yeah, unless, you know, some major outside issue comes along, I don't think there's anything the Republican Party could have done to hurt themselves more in the upcoming elections. Now, one thing the Republicans have going for them, the Democrats are hurting themselves worse, even though they won a big victory there. I mean, Schumer and Pelosi, of all people, so outmaneuvered the Republican leadership. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. No wonder they're boasting, celebrating, taking a victory lap right now, the Democratic leaders. absolutely shocking. And I really trust Trump meant what he said when he will not sign another bill like that one again. And how that happened, absolutely, we'll be stinging over that for a long time. Again, every time it seems we start gaining a little bit of respect for Republican congressional leaders, this shoots it all to pieces. I don't see how anybody's going to believe them or trust them again. This was just too big of a letdown. Well, that was the good news. No, I'm joking. It was truly a sad day last week when that bill was passed. And so what do we do? I mean, obviously, it's abandon the Republican Party, start a new party, or absolutely get rid of the leadership wholesale. Get somebody in the Senate who's going to do away with the filibuster. That's undemocratic anyway. With the filibuster, you have the minority rule, not the majority rule, the minority rules. 40 senators can lock up something so that 60 senators' will is not done. And they can thwart the will of 60. It's the way that works. And the Democrats, they're going to throw it out if they get power in the Senate again. So anyway, I'm just saying. Then we have this is Monday and a day to just look at issues, I think, a good day, but things we're facing. But another tragedy, American tragedy, is the meltdown that's going on in California. California was at one time one of the best places in the country, one of the best places to live. Everybody was California dreaming. And now it's becoming a nightmare because of the inept leadership there. There it's liberal leadership. It's crazy. But right now, the poverty rate in California, the highest in the country. 1 in 5 in California is living in poverty now. The income inequality in California is the most imbalanced in the country. The taxes are the highest, and they're losing droves and droves of good people. The good people they have that are paying taxes, that are working, that are producers, they're fleeing the state. They have to. They can't stay there any longer. They should have learned the lesson of what happened in New York back in the 70s and 80s when they thought they could just keep piling taxes on, and pretty soon all of the big corporations, virtually all of the major corporations that had all been based in New York, had to leave, go to other parts of the country. They could not survive there. You have to make a profit if you're in business. You have to make something. And when taxes come and take all your profits, you've got to move. That's all. And that's happening in California right now. The quality of life in California, when not too long ago it would have been considered the best, is now the worst in the country. Crime is rising dramatically. The biggest Damocles sword hanging over California are the unfunded pensions. Cities across the state promised their retirees way more than they could ever deliver on just to get elected, and then they didn't fund these pension funds. And now their workers are retiring and expecting them, and you're going to see city after, we've already had a number go bankrupt, you're going to see this become a cascade of bankruptcies in California. And you're seeing a virtual end of the middle class in California. So, now the one thing is, most of all of the bad stuff, you see the homelessness on the news all the time now, just cities of homeless people. I mean, it's like worse than, I remember someplace in Africa a few years ago where the refugees just flooded cities and all these. It's looking worse right now in California, of all places. It's unbelievable. But we've got to learn the lesson. We watch what happened in Venezuela. Socialism does this. Venezuela, one of the most resourceful, wealthy, and stable countries in South America. The greatest deposit they had, it was estimated, greater deposits of energy than Saudi Arabia. And the whole country collapses and implodes. And now we're seeing the same policies being implemented in California and headed in the same direction. And guess what? We have dozens and dozens and dozens for over 100 years of other examples. It never fails to end up this way when you start adopting those policies. We've got to come up with some definition of insanity that goes beyond Einstein's definition of insanity, which was to keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. Well, there's a point where you've done it over and over so many times, it's got to be beyond insanity. We need a new word that goes beyond insanity, because that's what is happening with these socialists. And it's really sad. It's just a tragedy in our country, a tragedy in the great state. Most of it is along the coastline. You cut out from Los Angeles to San Francisco, pretty much along the coast. The rest of that state is a red state, a very conservative state, and they want to succeed from that little pocket of the liberalism that is trying to dominate the rest of the state and ruining the whole state. It's getting traction. There are provisions for doing it. We've had a number of states do that. We've gained some of our New England states broke off from one time. Massachusetts included almost all the New England states, and they separated, made their own states. And it's not too hard to do. I think they're gaining momentum to do that out there, but it's, Los Angeles, one of our great cities. San Francisco, these others, we can't just give them up like that. But when are people going to wake up? That's what we keep talking about a great awakening. We are in desperate need of people to wake up. See what's happening. We have so many examples, the results of doing certain things that always consistently turns out really bad. Why do they keep doing that? A friend of mine, Mark Nuttall, was talking to Senator Edward Kennedy one time, and Teddy Kennedy, and brought that up to him. Why do you keep pushing socialism? It has never, ever worked. And Kennedy actually said this to Mark Nuttall. He said, it didn't work because it didn't have me to lead it. Have you ever heard of anything so arrogant in your life? He said, all these other hundreds of leaders that have tried to implement it, they failed because they weren't me. And he could do it. Well, he never got a chance. We should be glad of that, but not glad that he passed so young, but that, thankfully he was not elected president. But listen, we need new leadership. We still have one of the greatest vacuums of leadership in our history. Pray for leaders. Poor leaders are a judgment from God according to Scripture. Good leaders are a blessing from the Lord. And we in our country basically ask God to leave. We don't want even a mention of him in our public places. And it looks like that's what he's done to a lot of degree. We see his favor and grace in some areas, but others, we cannot let up. And, we see in Revelation 3:20, Jesus standing outside the door of his own church, knocking to see if anyone will open to him. That's his church. He will not enter things in this age where he's not wanted. And we basically told him we don't want him in our country anymore. I think we do. I think we've got to have him back. We've got to beg and plead for God to come back and raise up righteous leaders. We don't need just one more conservative justice on the Supreme Court. We need 9 righteous judges. Not conservatives or liberals, but righteous judges. who understand justice and will do what they vow to do to defend the Constitution and to uphold it. Anyway, that's my rant for today, and I hope it helped your day. This too is the day that the Lord has made. So let's determine we're going to wake up. We're going to open our eyes wider, open our hearts to the Lord. Everywhere you go, pray for the Lord to go with you and to manifest himself. And we have to start begging, Lord, please come back to our country. Thank you.